Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was really going to wait to do this on Saturday, but I couldn't wait. So I worked for a little bit and then I'm taking a break. I've been up. I was going to go in the office and I decided, forget this. I'm just going to work from home so I can do this. So if you hear the other computer dinging, it's because I'm getting messages. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Tina, Christoph, Lolly and Pop, Susan, Pretty Monita, how are you? Iced coffee. Good morning. I think I got everybody. So, we know when I was showing you guys Jennifer Soto, everything I said about this woman, you heard me say, I believe Madeline was caged inside of the home. I said there is no way her mother doesn't know what's going on. I also stated, good morning, Sarah, motherfucking how you doing? I also stated, I want to know, when is the police going to investigate her? I said those things. So besides that, Corey Bigsby, I'm going to get to Madeline. Corey Bigsby is on trial in Hampton, Virginia. I covered that story when Cody had been missing, and it just started making. It hadn't even hit mainstream media yet, but his father was released because they violated his civil rights. He kept asking for an attorney. Now he did keep asking for an attorney, and they kept making pressuring him to talk. So he was released. He gained custody of his youngest daughter again, but now he's on trial in Hampton. The trial's supposed to last 4 days. Today, I think, is the third day. Today's the third day. So that's going on right now. But let's get to Madeline. Let's get to Jennifer Soto. Let's see. What else is going on? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. And for everybody that was here last night for my live stream, I really appreciate it. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, it's in two parts because we were accidentally disconnected from the stream. So I wish you guys would go watch it. It's a survivor story of being at the Academy of Ivy Ridge, which is more like a human trafficking thing. And speaking of human trafficking, Grady is at it again. But let's go here. Let me add this in here. Let me make this bigger. I want you to hear what's going on right now. Everything I said when I listened to this woman. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, Vault. Everything that I said when I watched this interview, everything we discussed on here, guess what the police is now stating? Well, then, let's get to it.
Madeline Soto, why prosecutors are now calling for an investigation into this local sheriff, and how the story Madeline's mother provided law enforcement doesn't line up with what investigators know.
We spoke one-on-one with Jennifer Soto last
This
Tuesday.
happened last night.
Good afternoon. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Greg Wormuth. At that point, her daughter Madeline had been missing for 1 day. She told us that Stephen Stearns, her boyfriend and now the prime suspect in Madeline's death, had taken the teenager to school. She said the last conversation she had with the 13-year-old was the night before. But this report we got a hold of today shows she told deputies she saw her daughter the morning of her disappearance.
So she stated, and I pointed that out, that they talked about her 13th birthday party the night before. That's what she first said. Then she said she saw her the morning of. Now, my question was, did she leave that house alive? I said, no, she didn't. She was already deceased when he put her in that car.
Channel 9 investigative reporter Shannon Butler has been digging into the details of this case. She joins us live in studio. And Shannon, that's not the only thing you noticed in this new report.
Greg, no one has been charged in Madeline Soto's death, but we do know investigators are looking into who knew what and when. And some of that means looking at those initial interviews of the couple and the ones later on. Sources tell me the statements about the timeline are not consistent. Jennifer Soto told us last week that the last conversation she had with her daughter was about her 13th birthday party the night before Maddie disappeared.
Well, Christoph, we actually get a notification like around 5:30, 6 o'clock is when the automated notification goes out. But they know by 9:30. If you're not in a class by 9:30, you are considered absent. Period. Even if you miss your first period, and then you have to go to the office to check in. If you're not in your class, that first class, you are considered absent. So they know all of this by at least 10, 11 o'clock. So those notifications need to go out a lot earlier. I just stopped getting the ones for Kayla. They kept telling me that she wasn't in school in January. And I finally had to call the school and said, hey, can you remove my number? She has been checked out of your school and she's in another school. So I finally stopped getting those messages.
Told her good night and yeah, that was it.
But
that's the last time she said she saw
Sunday night was not the last time Soto saw Maddie. New documents show that Maddie's mom told deputies on February 26th that she saw her daughter getting dressed for school at 8 o'clock that morning and that her boyfriend then took the teen to school. But since that initial report was taken, we learned from the Orange County Sheriff that Maddie was likely dead earlier than that.
Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day.
Damn, y'all gonna listen to me. Good morning, Maria. I told you that little girl, ooh, I knew it. You disgusting piece of shit. And the mother knows. Trust me, she knows.
Channel 9 has been going through statements from Stephen Stearns and Soto trying to piece together what happened the last few hours of the little girl's life, starting with our interview of the couple. Her mom told us last week.
We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
But in that same interview, then said,
I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah.
Detectives believe Maddie was likely dead early Monday morning because a video timeline shows Maddie's belongings being dumped in a dumpster at 7:35 by Stearns. At 8:19, Sheriff Mina said video shows Maddie in Stearns' vehicle believed to be deceased. Since then, the case has moved to Kissimmee Police.
Look at her.
Sources tell us that Soto has been interviewed multiple times by detectives at 2 agencies and that they are looking closely at all the statements she's made. But officially, Kissimmee Police won't comment. So this initial report also shows that Stearns told investigators that after Maddie got out of his car, she stopped to look in that book bag before he drove away. That same book bag was found actually in the dumpster. After her death, he then said he went home for about an hour after going to the vape store and running errands. He was home that day until 2:30. Detectives say a tip showed him changing a flat tire not far from where the little girl's body was found that afternoon.
All right, Shannon, it is starting to piece together. Thank you. We also spoke to suspect Stephen Stearns before he was arrested. He also told us he dropped off Madeline for school the morning of her disappearance.
She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school. When
she was asleep for most of the day. So the reason he said she was asleep for most of the way, just in case there were cameras that caught her in the car, he can say, well, she was sleeping. That little girl left that house deceased. And that mother knows what happened. She knows. I said it when I looked at her. First, I was feeling sorry for her. And then I'm like, oh, hell no. You know what happened to this child.
What was it?
Again, law enforcement believes Stearns never drove Madeline to school and that she was already dead that morning.
Greg, also breaking this afternoon, the state attorney's office says it's asking the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate how and why a photo that appeared to be a body in the woods was posted to the Osceola County Sheriff's personal Instagram page.
Yep.
The photo was posted less than 24 hours after investigators found Madeline Soto's body. Sheriff Marcos Lopez, who you see here, said he accidentally posted the image when sharing a post of himself visiting a senior citizens area. The sheriff's office has not said why the sheriff had the photo or who took it. Developments continue to come out in this tragic story in our community. For Eyewitness News at 5, we'll show you the impact Madeline's death has had on our entire.
So that was that story. Now, sorry, Jenny. Hold on. Yeah, I have Court TV on too. I'm listening to the case out of Michigan. But I'm telling you, I knew it. I knew it. I was watching her. No, he didn't accidentally post shit. Hi, Whitney Lee. I got that. Someone sent me that, and I didn't post that up because that is just ridiculous. But you don't know if it's her body, but it's the same area. But yeah, it was probably her. And that's when the news first came out that that a body was found. So we watched her making her legs and everything shake. We saw her. And then just the way she went over to comfort this man who was sitting there making all the noise and playing with the dog in the background doing her interview. She had the 13th birthday on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. She went missing. She was reported missing on the 26th, which was Monday. So you discussed her birthday, but she told some people at church like the week before she wanted to run away and get away from everybody. You never questioned your daughter. Why? You know why you didn't question it? Because you didn't care, because you already knew. She knew full well what that man was doing to that child. If she didn't know all of it, she had some suspicions, because I'm sure, and I keep saying, I'm waiting for somebody to come forward, because that little girl told someone something. And if she told her mother that he was touching her and she did not protect that child, she already said her mother lives down the street, works down the street from her daughter's school. I've never heard of you dropping your child off at the church when it's closed because she wanted to walk the rest of the way to school. Oh, crime is increasing there. Whitney, are you in Canada? I'm just asking. You don't have to say, because I thought I heard stand-up guys say you were in Canada. 6 dead, including 4 children. Oh, my God. There's been a lot of MSs here, too. Okay, so it's just sad. I keep saying that mother knows something. She was making herself shake. He's in the background playing with the dog as she's doing the interview. And then she's sitting there smirking and said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you're doing an interview about your child that's missing. And then she's not the one that's crying. She's not the one that has the bloodshot eyes. She's not the one that can't contain herself. No, it was him, because he had a guilty fucking conscience. She knew. And then we got this other piece of shit we're getting ready to look at, because what he did to his wife out of pure hatred and jealousy is disgusting. That's why I said, and I said this before, when you're going through a divorce, especially a nasty, contentious divorce, and then you go through that, your wife meets somebody else, and all of this stuff, you have so much built up anger. I'm going to play this for you guys so you'll see what this piece of shit did to his wife. No, he didn't care. He didn't care, so don't think about that. That's not what he did. So I'm going to play this for you. It's 7 minutes long, and then we're going to look at Grady real quick. And that's okay, Maria. Hi, I'm so happy to see you. It's just sad, but I want that mother arrested. I want her arrested, because everybody knows, she knows. And the little boy that's missing out of Tennessee, I've been doing some follow-up. I watched Terry Lynn's live. Matter of fact, she had called me to tell me about everything that she was finding. And I kept telling her, okay, go live if you got it. Get the guy to go live with you. You know, don't hold nothing back. This kid has been missing. So I finally, I didn't watch it. I listened to it. I listened to it on, what was it? Was it yesterday? No, Tuesday night. Was it yeah, I listened to it Tuesday night. So let me play this for you.
30, with the jury awarding more than $21 million to a couple in Steamboat Springs after it found the woman's ex-husband pushed false allegations of child sex abuse. But here, who still has custody of the kids. For the first time after winning a massive $21 million defamation verdict, a Steamboat Springs couple.
My brats, I'm still looking into I'm keep trying to find news on the little girl that went missing in Providence, and then she was found in the water, and I haven't seen anything at all as far as that case. So if you have anything, or if you got some insight, please let me know. I really would appreciate it. Good morning, Mr. Jimenez. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, Naomi. And I know because that's my aunt's name. Well, my aunt is now deceased, but her name was Naomi. Nothing there also? Damn. They know something. MRE, they know something. They're not saying it. I'm thinking it was someone inside that home. I'm serious. I'm thinking somebody inside that home. But let's listen to this piece of shit and what he did to his wife with these allegations.
Sharing their story exclusively with the Problem Solvers.
Investigative reporter Rob Lowe with a case where a jury found parental alienation on steroids.
The day after Cindy Hayek and Kenny Hamp got engaged, they say her ex-husband began manipulating the child welfare system by having Kenny accused of sexually abusing one of the boys. Kenny would be arrested, Cindy would lose custody, and more than 3 years later, she still has not spoken to her 3 kids, even though a jury now says it was all bogus, made-up allegations pushed by an ex-husband who's been ordered to pay a staggering amount of money.
Yeah, I was asked to choose between my children and the truth. And for 4 years, I had to choose the truth.
Cindy Hayek might not come across like someone who just won a $7.6 million verdict, probably because she spent 4 years and millions of her own money to get a Route County jury to hear her case.
I felt listened to. I felt like vindicated. I've been saying it for years, it's never happened, and I just couldn't get anybody to listen. I had 7 people listen and agree that this never happened.
What a jury says never happened here in Steamboat Springs was the child abuse Cindy's boyfriend Kenny Hamp was arrested for in 2019. The charge even upgraded to a felony based on evidence that had all the substance of fine powder.
It is the worst thing that you could ever be accused of. It was humiliating, shaming, ruining my reputation, trying to throw me in jail for the rest of my life. Everybody knows what happens to pedophiles when they go to jail.
The felony would later be dismissed in 2020. Prosecutors writing, the totality of evidence in this matter reveals there is no reasonable probability of conviction beyond a reasonable doubt. In 2021, the State Department of Human Services would sign a settlement agreement admitting its mistake when it came to allegations Kenny Hamp committed child sex abuse, writing, the finding is overturned.
The worst thing I was accused of doing was just sexually abusing the children I love the most.
Kenny says he had a great relationship with Cindy's children, then a 13-year-old girl and 9-year-old twin boys, until September of 2019, when the children's father contacted a doctor with accusations one of the boys had been abused by Kenny.
And this all came from Steve Heron telling the children that I...
Now, these were false allegations. They're going to show you the statements that this man was making, all because his ex-wife decided to marry someone else, and he didn't like it. Thick ass bastard. That's what I say. When you put shit on people, it's disgusting. Hold on. And this man lost his reputation. They spent millions of dollars. That's a beautiful home. Look, damn, that view was beautiful.
Did these things to these children, and the children believed what the father said, but in forensic interviews, the children actually told the truth and said that the father told them that this happened and that I never did that.
Here's the videotaped interview from May of 2020 that a 9-year-old boy gave to a forensic child abuse expert.
And who told you that Kenny was sexually assaulted you?
My dad.
Your dad told you? Tell me what your dad said.
He said, I'll be up and sexually assaulted and then he took me into my room.
And later, in the same interview,
did you tell the doctor who had done something to you?
I didn't know that Kenny did it at that time.
Okay. But it was your dad that told you that Kenny had done it?
Yeah.
The dad, Steve Heron, is not
There he
talking
is.
to the problem solvers.
I'm not this like just trying to pull these kids away from Cindy.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
you were
think
doing.
they're safe.
But here's video of him and his wife talking to a Steamboat Springs detective and a state caseworker in 2019.
If you could wave a magic wand today, what would you want as far as a parenting agreement plan?
Full custody of the children.
See that?
Decision-making authority.
A jury would determine Heron was feeding the detective a false narrative of child sex abuse in order to win full custody of his 3 kids.
And so it's misdemeanor 1. It's not the sex assault that I think, that I want to try and get. I would out here right now.
Heron would make it clear he wanted a felony charge to win full custody of the kids, which is exactly what later happened, allowing him to relocate the children to Maui, Hawaii in the summer of 2021. The kids are now 13 and 17.
You made my brother. And you're on the Christmas card list right now.
This was the most obvious, malicious, and calculated scenario of child weaponization that I've ever seen.
Chris Decker is Kenny Hemp's attorney. He helped convince a jury to award Kenny more than $13.6 million for defamation after the jury concluded there never was any child sex abuse. Here's what the medical director of the child protection team at Children's Hospital Colorado wrote. In summary, neither the documentation from child's multiple medical examinations nor the images taken by Mr. Heron provide any evidence that can be attributed to or support the allegations of child sex abuse assault.
It was an important verdict, and a message I think that the jury wanted to send was, stop the lying.
Thank you.
Stop doing this, Steve Heron.
I've seen a lot of traumatized children over my career.
Terry Duffin was the court-appointed parenting supervisor for Cindy Hayek, in charge of observing visits between the kids and mom. Honestly, do you think there was ever any sexual abuse?
I do not. I don't.
With 30 years of experience, she quickly came to one conclusion.
The boys could never tell me any details about what happened to them. I felt like they were being coached
By a father she felt was motivated.
So he accused him of molesting the boys. The boys.
By revenge.
He, for quite a while, spoke angrily about how mom got money she didn't deserve.
Duffin says she was later removed from the case because she would not offer false opinions of child abuse.
Steve was very, very angry that mom was even still around, and he was trying to eliminate her from the children's lives. That's what it felt like.
Parental alienation?
Absolutely, parental alienation.
This story is about giving these children a chance in life to know the truth so they can make their own decisions in the future when they're ready.
I chose my family, and I'm going to put my family back together.
This is
It's hard,
crazy.
but I'm going to do it. And I hope to one day see my children and tell them what happened. And I hope they don't feel in any way that they're responsible for this.
Even with this $21 million verdict, even if the criminal charges dismissed and the social service findings reversed, the family court still hasn't reversed its findings. So Cindy plans to file a new motion. She's not even seeking custody. She's seeking reintegration therapy so that, as you heard her say, she can start putting her family back together. Rob Lowe, Fox 31.
Yeah.
This is disgusting. I am surprised they let him do this. But that's what they do. You get accused of all kinds of things when you're going, and they were already divorced. She was engaged to someone else. And I'm surprised he didn't try to K her. I'm seriously surprised he didn't try to take her out. But that's what he did. Now, this man is sick. So he was complaining because when he got divorced, she got this settlement. And he didn't like it, saying that she got money that she did not deserve. And she got too much money. Okay. I'm just like, I'm done with this stupid shit. Stop wasting the court's time with bullshit because you have an axe to grind with someone. You have an axe to grind. Now, there was a major bust in Polk County, where Sheriff Grady is. So I'm going to bring this up. And this is about trafficking. Hold on a second. All of this. See, I can't even go to sleep at night. I can't go to sleep. There's too much shit going on. I'm gonna have to stay up all night and become a roving reporter. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna come live every time I get breaking news. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, here we go.
Human trafficking sting that was dubbed Operation March
Look at
Sadness.
this
There were
shit.
288 people arrested, including suspected illegal immigrants, a teacher, coaches, even active duty military members were caught up in this sting. And Sheriff Judd is joining us this morning to talk more about this. First of all, great to have you. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us this morning.
So let me tell y'all what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna become a roving reporter. So I'm going to need you guys to start sustaining my lifestyle. And I don't care where the news is happening. If I can't drive it, I'm flying it. So that means you got to buy airplane tickets and all kinds of stuff. So just let me know. Okay, let's go. I'm joking.
Well, good morning, Amy. I'm glad to be with you in the Orlando area.
So, Sheriff Judd, there were some very disturbing, troubling parts of this story. What were some of the biggest things that disturbed you about this sting operation?
We had so many just dropping moments. When two 16-year-olds, well, 17-year-old brother came from Wesley Chapel, the next county over, to try to rob us with a BB gun, and they got arrested. And then you focus on the 21 people that were here illegally. That's right. Let me give you just a snapshot of 3 of, we believe, human trafficking victims. They wanted to come to the United States. So the human trafficker arranged for them to come here illegally. And then they got a voucher from DHS, flew to Yonkers, New York. She set up their prostitution stings. She had a handler that went with them every place. And she said, on Friday, you give me $3,000 a piece. So for just these 3 people, who knows how many she was working, she made $9 grand a week. And she made sure they flew around the country.
Good morning,
so we asked them, well, you came from New York to Tampa to Lakeland. Is that correct? Yes. How'd you get here? Well, we had this voucher from DHS. They told us they're flying around the country on this federal voucher. So get a load of this. They are flying around the country on a federal voucher to turn prostitution stings, and the girls aren't free to leave.
You see a minute, I'm still waiting for my flowers in my limo.
That is a scary thing. We have them being victims, even though they're here illegally, they're victimized. We have the people all throughout this country that are violating the law and are potentially exposed to HIV. The border's wide open. Fentanyl's coming across. The drugs are all over killing our people, and we're just beside ourselves. And then we catch our own military people, a staff sergeant in the operation, another airman first class out of MacDill, who is also a police officer for the military, and he's here with illegal people, supposedly having sex. You know, it's just
close the borders.
Shock.
It's a shock, Sheriff, and to hear the number of people that were caught up in this. And you guys do these sting operations all the time. And as you said in your news conference, you're going to continue to do them. And I think one of the things that you said,
if you're going to commit a crime, don't do it in Polk County. I'm just going to tell y'all. Don't do it in Colorado Springs. Okay? Don't do any crimes in Polk County, because Sheriff Grady is coming for you, and he's going to find you. And then you go to Colorado Springs, even though he retired. Oh my God, what's his name? He will find you. I would have never committed a crime anywhere where these two are. Damn people, they're relentless.
Said that, you know, maybe a lot of people took a chuckle at was that, you know, it's hard to believe that people continue to fall for this stuff.
Well, of course. Now, we only arrested 42 that lived in Polk County, and I guess that's 42 people under rocks someplace, because we don't make a secret of this.
Alone.
The rest of them came from throughout, not only Central Florida, we had people from like 12 different states that were in Central Florida for whatever reason and decided, hey, they'd pick up someone. You know, we had a guy tell us, well, Monday I got to go to the county jail for 10 days. So I just wanted some stress relief before I went to jail. We had a wife call us and thank us for arresting her husband. She said, now maybe we can get our marriage put back together. We had the craziest week that we've ever seen in one of these operations. But the good news is, when you look at the 13 victims of human trafficking we believe we've identified,
42 arrested in Polk County.
Other two operations,
look at this.
We have a record high 58 victims we believe we've rescued from human trafficking.
Wow, well, that is certainly the good that comes out of it. And Sheriff, we're showing, you know, this widescreen shot of all the arrests that you made. I assume that all of the ones that are in black or that you can't see their faces, those are some of the victims that you found.
Absolutely. Those are the potential human trafficking victims. And we work with our NGOs, our mental health counselors from the community. We have them at the operation. So we start screening them for being a victim of human trafficking from the moment the transaction occurs.
8 days,
and then they follow them for weeks
13
and
victims,
months,
70 felonies,
night,
and
a lot of these
288
folks don't admit that they're
misdemeanors.
victims because they're more afraid of their human trafficker or their pimp.
Y'all be careful out there. Watch your kids. If you see something, I mean, even they'll tell you if you're in the airport that you watch. And when you go in the airport, you go in the restrooms, it'll tell you on the back of the doors, this is a safe haven. There are phones inside the bathrooms so you can call for help. And they always tell you to watch the way kids are acting or the way women are acting. If you see them in the restrooms or in the airport, if you think something is wrong, alert someone. And it tells you all on the stalls in the airports. There are phones right in there. But I don't know how if somebody goes in there with you. But if you're with a man, he's not going to go in the restroom with you. So you have to be careful because you can't trust anyone. And I hate to say that, but you can't trust people these days. They'll act like they wanting to help you. You know, they're there for you, especially if you're very vulnerable and, you know, you feel that you have nowhere to go and no one cares. This is how they get you. Look at all these young girls that we've covered the last 3 or 4 weeks that went missing. You have 2 that was found with grown-ass men. And there one was 12. She's on a tag, an adult site, and she was found with a 27-year-old man in Columbus, Texas. Then you have Tanya Jackson, who was found in a motel in Dallas that deals with drugs and prostitution. They haven't announced any arrests for that one yet, but it's said to be that it was a ring that was working, and they kept grooming her. She's run away twice, and she kept contacting these people. So something is going on in that home. Something is going on in that home. And then on my community tab, I have a young lady that's missing from Joint Air Force Base Andrews. This is my son's ex-girlfriend's best friend's daughter, and she sent it to me. She went missing from the base. So I'm just waiting for her to give me some more stuff, but she went missing off of Andrews Air Force Base. Well, now it's called Andrews Joint Air Force Base. Joint Base. So she went missing from there. And you just heard there are military people that are involved in this damn sting operation. You have an MP that's involved in this bullshit. You can't trust any goddamn body. You just can't. So let me give you this last one, and then I'm going to have to get out of here because I have some stuff. Well, I have to start. It's 6:35, and I have a meeting at 7. So let me just bring you this real quick. This is about a baby.
The first
that
one
was
to speak is going to be
Kate.
Chief Andy Ray from the Bartow Police Department, because we assisted Chief Ray, so he will
This was
give you
15
the
hours ago.
preliminary information, and then I'll talk to you about the investigative side. Chief, come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Andy Ray. It's ANDYRAY. I'm the police chief in Bartow. We're going to talk to you today about an investigation that started in Bartow Thursday evening, the 22nd of February. Bartow officers were dispatched to the Bartow Hospital, Bartow Regional Hospital, to report of a child that was injured and had arrived in cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
So first officers on scene made contact in the emergency room with the medical personnel there, and they were working feverishly to save this child's life. Turns out that the child is a 4-month-old little girl.
4 months.
Those officers, being given some information at the scene, then contacted supervision and asked for a detective. One of our detectives responded. Supervisor was notified as well and started an investigation there initially. There was not a great opportunity to get a lot of information because the whole team at the emergency room was working to save the child's life. That was a little bit after 8:30 in the evening on Thursday evening. A helicopter was dispatched, a medical helicopter was dispatched, and the child was stabilized briefly and then placed on the helicopter and flown
This
to
is so
St. Joseph's
disgusting and
Hospital
disturbing.
in Tampa. Our detectives went over there along with supervision to get some more details about the investigation and also the status of the child. Once they got there and got some answers, at that point, it was obvious that the child had multiple injuries. And at that point, I contacted my colleagues at the sheriff's office, spoke with the investigations major, and requested their assistance in the investigation. They then dispatched homicide investigators from the Bureau of Criminal Investigations at the sheriff's office, and they arrived, were briefed, and then took over the investigation at that point. Very thankful, as always, for our relationship with the Polk County
4
Sheriff's
months
Office.
Cardiac
Again, I say it
arrest.
every time. We work very well together here in Polk County. We all know each other. We all appreciate and support each other, and we all respect each other based on the information that we have and the experience that we have. So I'm thankful for that, thankful for our partnerships, and thankful for the outcome of this investigation. So I'm going to turn that over now to the sheriff for the rest of the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And I ditto that cooperation. That's how we work here, and we've always worked here, is we work together. And I have a very experienced homicide team, and the blessing is in the city of Bartow, they very rarely have a homicide. So they call us when they have one. So
Told y'all, don't mess with Grady.
Opportunities to investigate than most other agencies because of the vastness of the sheriff's office. But I want to introduce you to a murderer, to someone who viciously murdered his beautiful 4-year-old baby girl that they refer to as Strawberry. Now, it appears to me that normal society can't understand this kind of
No,
person.
I can't.
Well, I can tell you from a great deal of experience that a lifelong law enforcement officer can't.
He said
understand this kind of
4-year-old.
person.
She's 4-month-old, and they arrested the
But
father.
here he is, Jacob Kubai. He's 22 years of age. He and his wife had this baby just 4 months ago. And on February the 22nd in the evening, Jacob Strawberry took mom to work. They dropped her off at the Texas Cattle Company in Lakeland at about 5 minutes to 5 in the afternoon. And then he went home with the baby. I might also add that mom works also at Buffalo Wild Wings.
So mom is working.
So she's working 2 jobs, and Jacob's staying home with a baby. So he arrives at home, and he then, at about 20 minutes to, I guess it's about 20 minutes to 6 when he gets back home, he plays video games for a while. He discovers while he's fixing dinner that he doesn't have any chicken broth for the food. So he said he took the baby Strawberry and went to Walmart. He told us this. Now we pull the video at Walmart. He has no baby.
No baby.
And then we watch him shop, and then he comes through the line to self-checkout with
no baby.
Then he goes home at about 6:54. He's at Walmart less than 10 minutes. He said at 7.
Just for anybody that's thinking about committing a crime and say you were in Walmart, Walmart has some of the best surveillance systems in that store. Don't say you're going to Walmart because you will be caught. Don't say Walmart because you will be caught.
50 in the evening, about 7:50, he fed the baby and checked on her every 10 minutes.
Bullshit.
We thought that was a little strange. At
Bullshit.
7:50, fed the baby, checked on her. At 8 o'clock, checked on her. At 8:10 p.m., he checked on her and found the baby unresponsive. He said he tried CPR.
Bullshit.
Investigation shows that he gave 5 compressions. He saw that the baby still was unresponsive, so he grabbed the baby up and drove to Bartow Regional, where
should have called
Bartow
911.
Was notified. As the chief said, then they flew the baby to St. Joe, and here's what they discovered at autopsy, and they discovered many of these injuries as well. They discovered that night that the baby had a skull fracture, that the child had multiple impact bruises to the forehead, that the baby had 10 ribs fractured, that she had a hemorrhage in her spine, that she had multiple layers of brain bleed. Still, the baby fought for life and lived 2 more days before she died. Then an autopsy was completed. And at autopsy, it gave the details. Our detectives said they counted a minimum of 10 strikes to the forehead. Did you
4
hear
months
that?
old.
The baby was beaten in the forehead at least by 10 different strikes.
4
10
months.
ribs were fractured, and they said that would have been from a squeezing of the child. In addition to that, this significant skull fracture to the back of the head, the medical examiner said it would have occurred by striking a hard object. The baby was literally beaten to death.
Thank you.
And the only person that was home with the baby at the time was Jacob.
Now, here's my thing. I'm sure this is not the first time he's hit this child. She had fractured ribs. I'm sure he's hit her before, but the mother is working 2 jobs. You're sitting on your ass playing video games and probably tweaking because you're too lazy to get a fucking job while she's out working to provide for you and her child. You need to be underneath the fucking jail. And if it comes to find out that this child had old bruising, don't tell me the mother didn't see bruising on that child. Probably gave her an excuse. Oh, she rolled over. Y'all, she did this. 4 months old. Really? Okay.
We interviewed mom, and mom said the baby had no bruising when she went to work.
There you go.
The baby was not complaining or restless as an infant would be that had significant injuries.
So she would have stayed home.
It leaves only him. So our detectives, who are simply the very best on our homicide team,
the best,
try to talk to him. And first, he's totally lucid. Goes, I don't know what you're talking about. We put him in a cell, told him he was going to be charged eventually with aggravated manslaughter.
Morning, tough as nails. Hi,
child
Roxy.
abuse, aggravated child abuse. And then when we took him out of the interview room because he wanted to talk to us some more, he started saying things like, none of this is real. My wife's not real.
Tweaker.
My baby's not real.
Plain crazy.
This is a fantasy. It just didn't happen. He began began immediately playing games with us.
Yep.
He showed zero remorse.
Because he's not
He
remorseful.
shed not one tear.
3 meals in a cot.
And yet he is literally beaten and squeezed his baby to death at 4 months old.
There you go.
No remorse, no emotion.
Just like Jennifer Soto.
Nothing.
No remorse, no tears.
Mother responded appropriately when she heard of this injury to her child and couldn't understand how it happened. The case is still under investigation.
There's no investigation killing.
He's locked up in the county jail. And occasionally you really see people that, based upon the investigation of the death of the injury, you wonder why God allows them to breathe air.
He shouldn't be breathing.
There's one that I wonder why God allows him to breathe.
Me too, Grady. Me too.
You see the investigation and what this baby was exposed to before she died. Any questions? All
right. Grady's going to take questions now, but I just wanted you guys to hear that. 4 months old. He made a mistake and said she was 4 years old. That's the dad. That's the dad. Supposedly that's his wife and his baby, but that is the dad. He beat that child to death. Maybe she was disturbing him. She was crying. She was wet. She was a little fussy. You know, you want to play your video games because you're a grown-ass man that can't get a fucking job. Just because you married to a bitch don't mean that he's a good person. Now, if that child would have been fussy or cranky or feverish, or she would have taken that child to the hospital. He's going to put the child in the car. When you said the child is unresponsive, I don't know how far that hospital was. If you have a medical emergency, you call 911. There is nothing that anybody can do. They're not medically trained. They're not certified. Call 911. That can save your life. But that little girl was dead when he went to Walmart. She was deceased when he went to Walmart. Ain't gonna lie, talking about he went to the store and took the baby. That child was deceased. What he didn't say in here, how long did the medical examiner determine that the child had been deceased? That he didn't say. But that child was deceased when he was at Walmart because he left that baby home. He didn't put the baby in a car because I'm sure they check surveillance cameras for the parking lot. I'm telling you, Walmart has some of the best surveillance systems. That child wasn't in a car. That child was deceased. It's like that piece of shit that went to Puerto Rico and Detroit and left her baby at home for 10 days in a playpen. Sick ass people. Sick. You have people out here that want kids, that can have kids. They want to allow people to adopt certain kids because if you're in, some states, they'll look at you if you're in a same-sex relationship. They make it so hard for you. That's why these people are going out and getting surrogacy. They're doing that because they make it hard for them to adopt. This shit is ridiculous. Then you have this school that I covered last night that did nothing but abuse other people's kids, but it was a school for troubled teens. No, it wasn't. It was a way for you to make money and to have the parents think there was something wrong with their kids. So this is what I'm saying. When I woke up around, I'm looking at all this shit. I'm like, oh no, I can't wait for Saturday. But tonight I'm going to be live with Debbie and we're going to cover. Oh, they got so much shit going on. So we're going to cover a lot of reality stuff and some stuff that's going on in real life. Trashy Angela. But anyway, we're going to cover that and we're going to discuss the tell-all. If you guys haven't watched the tell-all, please do. It was a good tell-all. And let me tell you what I did. I watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Tell-All, Part 1. I had to go binge watch the damn season. I'm like, oh shit, this is good. So I had to go binge watch the season because they were showing little clips. I'm like, okay. So I binge watched that. The Real Housewives of Miami, I couldn't take their tell-all. All they were doing was screaming over each other. Yep, that's all. That child couldn't have did anything. He's a tweaker. He looks like he's a tweaker. Vaught, I'm telling you, I had to go watch Good Morning at the Commentary Zone. Good morning. I had to go watch. I had to binge watch. So I'm gonna see if Debbie wants to go live at 5:30 or 5:30 my time, which would be 8:30 her time. I'm gonna see what she wants to do. I would like to do it a little earlier because then if I stay on long and then I'm tired as shit and it's hard for me to get to sleep. So that's what we're going to do tonight. But again, just be mindful, pay attention around you, because you never know if you're in a position where you can help somebody that's being trafficked. Just keep an eye out. I'm telling you, when I go to Vegas, especially when I'm in an airport, I watch everything. I really watch everything. When we flew into Puerto Rico, I was watching everything around me. And it was just weird. And when my granddaughter told me she's going to the bathroom, I said, okay, I'm coming with you. So good morning, JoJo. But she got lost in a Vegas airport one time when she flew from Houston. She and my daughter-in-law, they flew back to Vegas. She wanted to go to the bathroom. My daughter-in-law was standing on the opposite end waiting for her to come out the bathroom. She decides, well, I know what baggage claim is, so I'm going to walk to baggage claim. My daughter-in-law calls me on the phone and she's screaming. My son's in Italy and I'm calling and she's going, I can't find her. I said, what the hell you mean you can't find her? I called airport security. They started paging her. I said, go find somebody. And she was panicking. I said, get off my phone. Get off my phone. So I grabbed the house phone. I'm like, oh, that was dumb because I still had a house phone. So I started calling Vegas airport police. They started paging her to pick up the phone, and she did. She was on her way to baggage claim. She goes, well, I know where baggage claim is. I was like, don't you ever do that again. So even when she was traveling with me, you going to the restroom, I'm going to the restroom. You want to go to Starbucks and get whatever iced coffee or latte you want, I'm going to get an iced latte unless I'm sitting right across from the Starbucks and I can see you. That's okay. Debbie, so what time do you want to go live tonight? So I'm telling you, just be mindful of everything around you because just be mindful of everything around you. And we're going to keep saying prayers for all these people that are going through, and they're going through a lot. I know there was a murder-suicide here about a week ago. It's like a mile away from me. And they were going to get a divorce. Okay, I'm going to set it. Okay, let's do 5 my time and 8 your time. So that way, in case we run over, I'll still have a chance to get some sleep. So I will see you guys later. I didn't mean to stay on this long, but I had to cover those 2 Grady things. So I'll see you later. And if you guys didn't watch the program, Cons, Cults, and Kidnapping, please watch it. It's I told you watch it. It's I had a survivor come up and her sister that actually took her to that facility. So watch it. Have any questions, let me know. I'll get them to her, and that way she'll answer. She says she doesn't mind coming back up if you guys have questions or anything else, because she remembers more and more stuff, but you have to ask her the question. So I want to say happy Thursday. Everybody have a great day. I'm going to get to in a minute. Well, I knew I had to be you or Jamal. Yeah, they both have stars. Debbie, we have to see if Jamal wants to come up and have cocktails with us, because I want to get his take on this whole thing with the real with the Reed and and Kyle and Mauricio. And I just have to get their take on this stuff. But anyway, I'm going to see you guys later. Bye. Have a great day, guys. Bye.